Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Dana, this is my dog Ammo, and today I am working on building her drive to follow a lure. She's always been pretty respectful towards my hands and doesn't really follow them or try to grab treats out of them, and that's one thing I learned in some practice clinics. So I am working on trying to get her to kind of follow my hand signals. This is something I never had a problem with Gunner because he only thinks with his stomach. So for starters, I am just working on teaching her the front position when you ask your dog to come to the front, and the two different finish maneuvers where they spin around behind your legs and where they spin around on one side of your leg and sit in the correct heeling position. I don't know. But yeah, so those are the things I'm working on. They're the most important to me, so I really need to build her lure awareness so that we can really make these polished. As you can see, she's very bouncy, very jumpy, and typically that wouldn't be okay. And also a lot of her finishing isn't in the perfect position. Right now, I just want to get a general concept. We can polish it after she kind of knows what she's doing. So my criteria and things aren't super crazy because I want it to all be more reward based for this, especially since she doesn't really want to follow the lure to begin with. So if I correct her a lot to start, why would she ever want to follow the lure? Yeah, so basically, even if I am doing something with her and she's not acting particularly the way I want to, she's following and she's biting at my hand and stuff, or she's jumping, that's okay for right now. I'd rather have her be crazy excited about this than just sit and stare at me like, what the heck, Dana? The main thing I try not to let her do is where she sits facing me in the finish position. That was something Gunner does and still does, and I really don't want to build a habit with her in doing that. So if she's sitting completely facing me, perpendicular to me, I will not reward that, and I'll try to correct that. I also decided to throw in a couple of heels just to change up the game so it's not too much repetition, just because I don't want her to get bored either, and she really likes heeling. She's not perfect at it yet, obviously, but I'm really impressed with her off-leash heel. So right here you can see that she just isn't following the lure, so I backed up to get her to try and follow me. So basically my thinking is, if she doesn't follow the lure, I'm going to make it more difficult for her and take the treat farther and farther away until she finally starts following. So see, she does, this was her main struggle, is switching sides, which is kind of important in agility and rally and obedience, so we need to really work on that. But towards the end, you can tell already how much better she's gotten and how much farther she's come. So I'm really proud of her with that. Another tip that I can give you is make sure you're holding enough treats, because I never grabbed enough treats and ran out of them twice during this. So don't make that mistake, and make sure you have enough treats, or even better yet, have a treat pouch. I don't have mine right now because we're in the process of moving and I have mine packed away somewhere, I don't know where, and I don't really feel like buying a new one. So anyways, don't make that mistake. In another video, I'll give a more in-depth tutorial on how I taught heel. Like I said, I'm trying to build a general concept with her before I start making a how-to video, so that it isn't a video that goes I have to record more than one session, just because then I get confused with what I've already explained and what I didn't explain yet. So if you're trying to teach your puppy or even a grown dog lure motivation, just make sure you keep it fun. Make sure you use the hand signal you'd want to use with asking them to finish. I'm doing what I do eventually without a treat, and have her just follow that. Or it'll be when you tell your dog sit, you usually, have your hand kind of by your chest for the sit. If you tell your dog to lay down, you kind of point to the ground. It's that same concept, but with a lure. And with teaching sit and lay down, you use a lure, but in a lot less over-the-top way than these movement tricks. You may also have to use your body to block the dog, never obviously kicking or like, stuff like that. But if you have to put your leg in front of your dog to prevent it from taking the easy way out and going in front of you instead of behind you, like, by all means do that, because that gives a better signal than just telling them no, no, no over and over again. So I actually had to block her once because she kept on trying to just cut in front like 3 times. So I put my leg out in front of her to make it more difficult to cut in front of me. And then after that, she understood and went behind me perfectly. I'm not sure if you could catch it from the video, but I did have to do that once. Also, use what tools work best for your dog. At one time in puppy class when we were practicing heels, she just wasn't into the treats that I was giving her. She was more interested in her surroundings, what was going on. So I went and grabbed a frisbee instead. And I had her want to play with her frisbee because she's definitely more toy motivated than treat motivated. It's just easier for me to train with treats, but if I have to, I will whip out that frisbee and train with the frisbee. Also, don't mind my cat in the background. He's the worst. The main thing to keep in mind is that obviously not all dogs are the same. So with Gunner, this was something very easy for him to learn, like the treat luring and stuff, because like I said, the only thing in his brain is food. He doesn't have a lot going on up in there. I'm sorry, Gunner, but that's true. Whereas Ammo, she's very handler motivated and very reward based motivated, but she doesn't understand the concept of following food. Food doesn't motivate her that much. Obviously, she loves her treats. She will go nuts over them, but it's not to the point where she's compelled to go wherever the food is. That is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.